Is ancient alien theory of genetic mutation true? Scientists learning how to change DNA. One of the main theories purported by ancient astronaut theorists is that the human DNA was manipulated by ancient beings. Zachariah Sitchin suggested that beings from the mystical planet Nibiru made alterations in the human genome. There are numerous ancient carvings that resemble the double helix motif of DNA, which prompts theorists to speculate that our DNA was modified in the distant past. Another interesting idea is the concept of the third eye, that ancient cultures were aware of it. It's believed that the speculative invisible eye, usually depicted as located in the pituitary gland of the brain, provides perception beyond ordinary sight. The symbols of the pine cone-shaped gland appear connected with strange beings that seem to be conducting some alteration of the tree of life, quote unquote. To some, the tree appears symbolic of DNA and the human vertebrae. In ancient Mesopotamia, the Assyrian tree of life was represented by a series of nodes and crisscrossing lines. There are no definite answers as to the symbol, but according to ancient literature, for example, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, there is a quest for immortality. And besides, King Etana searched for a plant of birth to provide him with a son. This has a solid provenance of antiquity, being found in cylinder seals from Akkad. And due to all these points suggest that the presence of advanced knowledge used by ancient beings to change the DNA structure? It sounds absurd. However, scientists today seem to be arriving at similar conclusions. It can't be denied that there was a very little knowledge about the vast majority of DNA. And according to a study published in 2018, double helix, dubbed as I motif, a new form of DNA was discovered. This paper represents a very early stage of figuring out what the I motif DNA actually does in human cells. One idea depicts that the I motif DNA regulates some cell function, as indicated by the fact that it seems to blink on and off in their observations. We think the coming and going of the I motifs is a clue to what they do. It seems likely that they are there to help switch off genes on or off, and to affect whether a gene is actively read or not, said Mahdi Zerati, the lead researcher. In the same year, scientists published their findings on dark matter DNA, which is long, winding strands of DNA with no obvious functions, but it's identical across the vertebrates for humans, mice to chickens. Before, scientists used to think that less than 2% of our DNA actually codes for humans, and the rest of 98.5% of DNA sequence is so-called junk DNA that is useless. Though science is still evolving and trying to understand the purpose of our DNA, some studies seem to show that intracellular, environmental, and energetic influences can change DNA. In biology, epigenetics is a study of heritable phenotype changes that do not involve alterations in DNA sequence. Some researchers suggest we can change our DNA through intention, thoughts, and emotions as well. Maintaining positive thoughts and effectively overcoming stress can help in getting emotional well-being. It may also maintain our very DNA. On the other hand, a study conducted in 2015 found evidence that depression does not change our brain, but it can alter our DNA and the way our cells generate energy. Science Alert wrote, a team from the Wellcome Trust Center for Human Genetics investigated the genomes of more than 11,500 women with the hopes of finding genes that might contribute to the risk of depression, but instead they stumbled across a signature of metabolic changes in their cells that appears to have been triggered by the disease. And after going back over the results, the researchers also found that the women with stress-related depression had shorter telomeres than the healthy women. Telomeres are the caps at the end of our chromosomes that naturally shorten as we age, and the team began to question whether this process had been sped up by stress. According to Forbes' article, Russian quantum biologist Dr. Vladimir Poponin and his colleagues Peter Graviev, through a series of experiments, tried to prove that human DNA has a direct effect on the physical world through a field of energy that connects the two. They first recorded the presence of photons in an otherwise empty tube and noted that the photons were scattered randomly across the tube. And next, they dropped a sample of human DNA in the tube and found that the photons arranged themselves distinctly in a pattern. Finally, when they removed the DNA from the tube, they expected the photons to go back to being randomly scattered, but to their surprise, they found that the photons remained in a pattern. This behavior of photons in the presence of DNA has come to be known as the DNA phantom effect. Other research also points to the strong possibility that human emotions can affect DNA even at a distance. These ideas sound strange to many people, but the reality is often stranger than fiction. Likewise, mainstream scientists and skeptics have long believed the questions of ancient astronaut theories to be absurd. According to Scientific American, ancient aliens theory is grounded in a logical fallacy called argumentum ad ignorantium, or argument from ignorance. The illogical reasoning goes like this: if there is no satisfactory terrestrial explanation for, say, the Nazca lines of Peru, the Easter Island statues, or the Egyptian pyramids, then the theory that they were built by aliens from outer space must be true. At this moment in time, medical technology is able to create weird situations in genetics. Giorgio Tsoukalos said, "If modern science today would be able to create a hybrid being, a mixed being, then that would in essence corroborate the ancient alien theory, because we are merely saying that what today is being discovered is a rediscovery of what already took place thousands of years ago, meaning genetic experimentation." Sumerian clay tablets are inscribed with a cuneiform script dating to 4000 BC. Relying on interpretations of the tablets, ancient astronaut theorists believe an advanced race of intelligent beings arrived on Earth 450,000 years ago during the age of Neanderthals, and through genetic engineering they created modern-day human beings. This is on House and Wise by Vicky Verma. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. My Patreon account, the daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.